I don't know, maybe they needed distraction or something thereabouts. Something to get everybody through the day. I know this. You guys felt that this morning. Those are the football wins. And Ernest, we went from just, hey, they're going to be here. It's going to happen soon enough. Football wins. And, every year, because we yearn for them, we get excited about them, we wait to feel the effect of the football wins. We jumped the gun a little bit. We're a little premature. We get a little premature. The first time that you go outside and it doesn't suck, it's not 90 and humid at 7 a.m., I get tweets immediately, texts people, hey, was that a football win? Did I feel that this morning? No, it just didn't suck. It just wasn't miserable. When you took out the trash or whatever it was you did in the morning, you didn't think to yourself and mutter to yourself. We're a lot of mutterers in the morning. Nobody's got time to actually vocalize much really early in the morning. So when you walk out, it's kind of like, this again? Another wet blanket? I'm just wrapped in this nastiness at 6 o'clock in the morning. Are you kidding? But not today. Not today. It was real. Celebrate it. It's something. Oh, and it is a needed something. It is a very, very needed something. It's tangible. It's to be celebrated. So welcome in, football wins. Might you carry with you a bit of a miracle? Might you have something that allows us to believe again, to latch on to something, a measure of hope, as I called it yesterday with Florida State football? Maybe those breezes, those cool breezes, sweep over Doe Campbell Stadium, Bobby Bowden Field. It's going to be a beautiful day. Will Florida State football give you reason to be happy beyond just sitting amongst people that you know and love and dealing with and embracing good weather? Let's hope that is true. So it is time, without further ado, at least to get to these numbers. Fun weekend of football, actually. Just speaking of the football, if you love college football above and beyond what we are or what we are not, most importantly these days, then you probably right off the bat want to watch Notre Dame and Wisconsin. Soldier Field should be a fun game. I've already mentioned some of the games I like this weekend that are fun games to play. But I mean, that's the thing as a college football fan. If your team stinks, and we have, then you can go and say, well, all right, there are, 25 games in a weekend that I'd like to get a good look at. There's usually, and the implications. And this year, the implications matter because we've been in a rut as college football fans. You think it's been bad dealing with the ineptitudes of Florida State football? I think that if you're passionate about the game, you've been concerned, and that concern has grown over the last few years, that vast majority of fan bases, the vast majority of college football fans are sort of ostracized by the fact that the power lies with 4 or 5 teams. Now, I don't begrudge those teams. We get tired of seeing them, but I don't begrudge them because it's, they've done what they've had to do to be able to succeed, and they're in a position to do so, and they've invested and they've succeeded, and they've obviously, in a lot of cases, done a good job on a lot of levels to get to that place where they're a preeminent power. But it's not good for college football, I've long maintained, to have sort of a foregone conclusion get started with the opening kickoff. That foregone conclusion being that either Alabama, Clemson, or Ohio State was going to win a national championship. Perhaps Oklahoma or Notre Dame would be a team in the mix only to get their head kicked in. And then maybe there was an outside shot, I suppose, of a Georgia or somebody like that. But for the most part, you kind of just knew those were the teams. And when it plays out that way a lot, I think, like anything else, for years I talked about competitive balance. I used to talk about competitive balance being a problem in women's basketball. Like people would say, well, you never talk about women's basketball. And I'd say, well, I don't like women's basketball. I can watch men's basketball. But it's not like I hate women. I just like to watch an above-the-rim game as opposed to an below-the-rim game. And we talked about why that was. But one of the things that I did say was a real problem, a concrete problem with women's basketball was that there were 3 teams that could win. And for the longest time, might have been 2. It was Tennessee and UConn. That's it. That's all. Thanks for playing, everybody. The rest of you are playing club basketball. It's changed. Women's basketball has gotten better. The quality of athleticism, the proficiency, all of it has gotten better. And with that, a range of teams has grown because there's more talent in the pool to choose from. And all of a sudden, you have a little bit more competitive balance when you go into the NCAA tournament. It doesn't feel like one of 2 teams is going to win that tournament. College football was going down that road. College football was going down the path of where's the competitive balance? This year, Ohio State's already lost at home convincingly to Oregon. Alabama looked very fallible last week against Florida. Now, Alabama's still elite and the odds-on favorite, but they didn't look like a machine that couldn't be toppled. Suddenly, Alabama, you saw at linebacker in particular, you saw some real confusion there on defense. You saw a young quarterback making a road start. And it's a testament to how good they are and how deep they are and how well coached they are that you could go against a top 10 team, not play your best football, get thoroughly outplayed in the second half, and still win a game like that. Now, again, there's no getting around the overriding talent at Alabama, but they do look beatable. Clemson can't score against air. They have looked terrible virtually every game. Now, is Clemson still good? Yes, obviously very good. And all the while understand that just because I recognize that Florida State's terrible and couldn't beat any of the teams I'm talking about, doesn't mean you can't have actual criticisms of those elite teams. It's not like, because you always get that guy, well, Florida State couldn't beat. What the hell is that got to do with anything? So I'm just talking about big picture. Ohio State's already been beaten. Clemson can't score. Definitely looks like they've got some offensive woes with the offensive line in particular for them. They're getting wildly inconsistent play at quarterback too. Alabama looked fallible. Georgia, I don't know. People feel like this about Georgia. I said going into the year, Matthew, you remember I placed a bet preseason on Georgia at plus 800 to win the national title. I feel good about having that ticket in my pocket right now, because that defense is overwhelming and there doesn't appear to be a dominant team just yet. So I'm going to ride that defense. I do need to see them get better every week. Now, clubbing poor South Carolina a weekend ago they did what they were supposed to do, but it'll be interesting to watch them build with JT Daniels in this offense. How much better does that offense get? I know the defense is going to be dominant. Ultimately, it does feel like that Georgia-Florida game, and then whoever comes out of that, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Alabama, in the rematch in the SEC, that does feel like where we're headed. But there are other storylines. It'll be important for Texas A&M to play well against Arkansas this weekend because obviously, you lose your starting quarterback for a long stretch, but you've got one of the best defensive lines in the country. What Arkansas and Sam Pittman, one of the better stories. Mel Tucker at Michigan State and Sam Pittman at Arkansas, 2 great stories to think about there. I like watching that. Speaking of Michigan State taking on Nebraska this weekend. So the slate is good. You have places to turn to satiate that college football love, even if you're disappointed with the product, unfortunately, right here at home. All right, here you go. We've been on a roll. By the way, there's the crowd. So Abdel's like, I'm itching to see that Metro Deli graphic. Oh, man. There they are, buddy. Yeah, if you don't know, you can go back and tally these up. Now, not all of these, and he'll have the siren ready. You get to decide, Matthew. You get to decide real card or Redemption Thursday. Jeff's card or Redemption Thursday.
Unfortunately, I can see you taking all of these.
Yeah, it feels like maybe I would.
The only one would be Utah State, but is it still a siren worthy if you talk about it every week?
I talk about them every week. Right? I've done some things with Utah State. Me and Utah State have this weird love affair. I mean, we're on again, off again. A couple of years ago, a few years back, I told you me and Utah State were hot and heavy, but then we had to go our separate ways. They let me down, got a little weird. I let them alone. Didn't mess with Utah State a year ago. Didn't want any part of it. The program fell into disarray. And now here they are back in my life on a weekly basis. We're skipping around too much. Here we go. Give me Virginia -4 against Wake. I tell you what's all the more maddening about Florida State losing last week to Wake Forest is I don't even feel like that's one of the better Wake Forest teams that we've seen. And we get housed and you turn it over 6 times. And it just bothers me. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Virginia's had great quarterback play so far. And that's kind of what I'm riding here. I feel like Wake is gettable, very gettable here. I'll easily give the 4. Give me Virginia -4 against Wake. Mizzou -1.5 against Boston College. Again, Missouri, if you go back, we were talking about Missouri and Kentucky early in the year, and I was talking a little bit about the passing games of those two teams and how they've improved. And what you had was a OC change at Kentucky, a quarterback transfer from Penn State to take over the helm at Kentucky. Missouri's throwing the ball more too. So we were literally looking at totals with those two teams. But given that what it is here through the first few weeks, Halfley does an amazing job with Boston College, but you lose your starting quarterback. I feel like last week's game is, there's no chance for them to pay for not having their starting quarterback. The competition wasn't there. Mizzou given 1.5 here. I just like Missouri to win the game. Oh, by the way, Jeff, if you want to know where Tom is, he's at the Ryder Cup. Yeah, tough times. Tough times is where Tom is. He's enjoying himself at the Ryder freaking Cup. I'm not jealous. Not at all.
Jeff's gone to the Masters. Tom's gone to the Ryder Cup.
Matthew's been here. Nowhere.
I'm just here.
You're paying your dues. You're paying your dues. You're a youngin'. Yeah, well, if we're gonna do that game, and I hope to make this happen someday, but like if you wanna do that, Tom and I have also covered the Stanley Cup Finals and done a few things here and there. And Tom gets mad at me because I've sat behind home, played at the World Series, covered the Super Bowl, countless college national championship games.
I'm happy for you guys.
Yeah. Well, someday. UCLA -5 against Stanford. This is solely about line play. This game is solely about line play. UCLA on the offensive and defensive lines should dominate this game. I know UCLA got beat last week in a wild game, fun game. I actually think that UCLA program is fun to watch. So I'm going to take UCLA here and give the 5 to Stanford. Stanford does not have the firepower for this game. Give me UCLA. Michigan State and Nebraska. Nebraska's improved, but they have the 138th ranked rush defense going against Michigan State, which has the number 1 rush offense currently and the number 1 rusher in the country. So, yeah, home at night, run the damn ball, baby. Wear down that Nebraska team. Now, Martinez, who I swore off for life after the Illinois game, has actually played very good football. I've been shocked to watch Martinez look entirely different than he has at any point in his career. He's put together a few games. Now, 2 of those are against bums, but he actually did not play poorly last week against Oklahoma. He was a plus player in that game. Now, that stunned me. So I'm a little nervous on that one. I'm a little nervous, but I like Michigan State at home. All right, there it is. There's my lock of the week. Kentucky giving 4.5 to South Carolina. If you saw South Carolina not getting drubbed by Georgia, which was a foregone conclusion and an easy win, South Carolina is a bad version of itself currently. That is not a good team. Go back to that East Carolina game. They're awful. They are hard to watch. No. Get that suck away from me. I can't deal with South Carolina. Give me Kentucky to beat the brakes off of South Carolina. Kansas State's been good to me this year. I like any team that's very, very physical. What travels in games like this is your ability to run the football. They are committed to running the football, play relatively good defense. Oklahoma State is banged up. Give me Kansas State plus the 5.5. And then I already mentioned Utah State getting 9.5 against Boise. I'm just going to ride the Utah State train forever and a day. Forever and a day. NFL, we're doing over-unders here, kids. I think it's tough to live and die with the number when you're talking about the National Football League. There are so many factors, but one thing that you could, prime time, for example. There's a game, for example, what is it, Green Bay? Is that the prime time? What's the prime time NFL? Check Sunday night and Monday night NFL matchups. The reason I bring this up, and it's not in my ledger here, if you look at that, and this is probably a bit in the weeds for gamblers, but primetime games, what is it?
Sunday night, you got Green Bay.
Yeah, I had it right. Okay.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
And then Monday is Eagles, Cowboys.
Yeah, okay, so get ready for a score fest, and here's why. That Green Bay game in San Francisco, I didn't pick it here, but I'm leaning towards the over. All primetime games in the short, we've only played a couple weeks in the season, have gone over. Every one of them. 6-0 to the over. Something about primetime, guys showing out, whatever it is, it's soared over the number. So Washington, Buffalo, give me under 46, and Tampa Bay and the Rams give me the over the 55 there. I think both teams will score in this game. I took an over there. I think we've got this reversed. We got to do this. I'm thinking Washington, Buffalo. Yes, that's right. Never mind. I had it right. I had under 46 Washington, Buffalo, over 55 Tampa Bay with the Rams. My bad. Don't even know how to look at my own damn numbers. Thanks to Metro Deli. We appreciate you, baby. Sponsoring the Redemption Thursday wagers. Somebody brought something up here that I am going to bring up too, because I think it's a good sign. I think it's a good sign behind the scenes. And we're looking for any piece of good news as it pertains to Florida State. We have not had good injury luck. Obviously, the results on the field have not been good. The execution for those that have played have not been good. The coaching staff has misplayed their hand a few times here, including, I think, treating a particular game, that'd be week 2, the game of which we do not speak, like a glorified scrimmage. So it's all added up to really disappointing results and week-to-week frustration. But one of the things about the off-the-field stuff is, okay, what's interesting to me is how many of these big-time recruits are continuing to come out in the face of this 0-3 start and say about Florida State, doesn't matter what the record is. Doesn't matter what the record is, I'm going to Florida State. And I get it. We have seen how fickle kids can be. We know. I mean, I started the Reedy. The commit, the recommit, the decommit, the recommit again. The Reedy-Rees for years frustrated me. Kids not understanding the very definition of commitment. I got it. But this seems like an unflappable group. Maybe not in totality. You're going to have some stragglers. You're going to have some kids say, oh, man, I don't know. They'll get gotten to. They got. It can happen. But the big names in this class all have kind of stepped forward and said, no, man, I'm good. I'm good every week. Now, I don't want to test it. I don't want to test it for 12 weeks. But I'll read a quote, and then I'll talk about what I think it means. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV on a Redemption Thursday.
I call Swain Pools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up the fun when I want to.
I called Tallahassee Car Care, and they're fixing my car when I want to.
Hey, what are you doing? This is a Swain Pools and Spas commercial.
I'm turning it into a Tallahassee Car Care commercial.
But Swain Pools and Spas is a full-service shop offering sales, renovation, supplies, and more for years.
And Tallahassee Car Care is a full-service shop offering brake and tire service, batteries, oil changes, and more for years.
But people go to Swain Pools for quality and reliability. Nobody knows more about pools and spas, and Swain has new Caldera spas in stock right now.
And people go to Tallahassee Car Care for their 5-star service at great prices, with most maintenance done by their certified technicians while you wait.
You know what? Just look for the big Swain sign on West Tharp Street, because Swain Pools and Tallahassee Car Care are under the same roof. Online at SwainPools.com.
Online at TallahasseeCarCare.com.
Swain Pools and Spas.
Hey, Nole fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state government, including public health and emergency response agencies, our friends at ISF recognize September as National Preparedness Month and want to help you be safe this hurricane season. Visit ISF.com to learn more and download your emergency preparedness plan today. ISF, solving the future.
When you need a plumber quick, How long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us. We're fine.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mandlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Applications, onboarding, payroll, termination. Business owners and managers, these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee expert and save yourself time and money. North Florida Payroll Services. Online at northfloridapayroll.com.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience more
Light fan 31996. If you're the lucky winner, you score 2 sideline passes, hospitality passes, and fan gear for the FSU Miami game on November the 13th. You got to be 21 years of age or older to enter. Please enjoy responsibly. A message from our friends at local Anheuser-Busch beverage distributor Tri-Eagle Sales. There you go. It's tough. It's tough. You're trying to give away tickets. I wonder what the over-under is for attendance on Saturday. I don't, well, probably not great. There are games, there are candidates for the future where this gets really ugly. If you were borderline this week, if you were on the cusp, if you were thinking, and then you saw the weather, you went, okay, all right, I'll do it. But there will be dates later in the year where I'm not so sure if we continue to have this problem. That will happen. All right, so A.J. Duffy said, I read Michael Langston's column on Warchant.com, and he said that A.J. Duffy, well, he didn't say this, but he got the quote from A.J. Duffy, who said that he doesn't care what the record is. He's coming to Florida State. Now, this isn't the first time one of these recruits have been excited about Florida State even after a loss. A lot of them seem committed to be part of this 2022 class with the same goal to be part of what changes things at Florida State. Now, we all know that if you are a program that has cachet, if you're a program that has historically mattered big picture-wise, it's easier to get back. It's easier to dust yourself off and find your way back towards the top of college football because you do have historical evidence of the kind of winning that can be done when you are operating at peak efficiency, when you have good players and you have investment. You have shown in your history, in your program's history, that this is a place that you win national championships. It's harder if you're a program that is building towards one day attempting to break through and win a national championship, but you never have. So it's sort of this, hey, come to Missouri. We can do it. We can, if you've been down for a long time, and I hate to use Missouri because when they first broke into the SEC, they actually did win the East. That's how bad the East was. But, you get my drift. If you're trying to build something, yeah, there's some momentum and you can kind of get some kids who want to be part of something like that. But if you're an elite player and you think, well, what is in my 4 years, if I stay 4, what's the best I can hope for? Have they ever made the college football? Have they ever playoff? Have they ever been a national championship contender? And a lot of times the answer is for these programs that are trying to build to that point, the answer is a resounding no. They've had a fluke 10-win season here or there, something like that. With Florida State, you're 8 years removed. You're 8 years removed from winning a national championship in 2014. You had an undefeated regular season, made the first ever college football playoff. You had a good team in 2015. It's really basically the level of profound sorry that has us all downtrodden right now starts in essence in 2017. And that's not that long a time to be down. We've seen most recently plenty of programs be that kind of down and then turn it around. Florida is a good example. We used to tease the 4-8, and now the joke's back on us. But, there's a good example of how that can happen. So you do have a little bit of something to fall back on with these guys, and that in the recent past, there's evidence of elite play. The other thing is, what I think this really means is that this coaching staff, for as poor a job as we might think they're doing, and certainly they have been doing, through these first 3 games. If you want to include last year's pandemic season or even parts of it, let's say you go 50-50 on blame there, then you would say, man, this is not off to a rousing start. I got you. You're not overly impressed. You're not taken aback by all of the steps forward Florida State has taken. Okay, fine. But I will tell you that what we were most excited about this offseason wasn't the upcoming season per se, but rather the amount of verbal commitments from very good football players that Florida State had. Because everybody knows the road back is paved with bringing in much better players than you currently have on this roster. And we wanted to see big numbers of offensive linemen, not only recruited, but committed. And you've seen that. You have a commitment from the best player, the best recruit in the country, and he has been really the catalyst for this class because he's been out in front and he's been talking a lot over and over and over again about his commitment to Florida State and how, hey, follow me. And there are people that are not only physically, they are preternaturally gifted, but also charismatic. And if you combine those two and they become an advocate and a voice for a class, we've seen kids follow others like that. We've seen kids want to play with other guys that they know are transcendent. And you know it. Athletes know it. Players know it. That's at every level. When you're at practice, when you see a dude and that's a dude. That guy there is not to be trifled with. That guy can play. And when you think about these all-star teams and these camps and these kids that, Florida State's trying to get commitments from, they've been around Travis Hunter. They've seen what he's about. And to hear that guy constantly say, Florida State or nothing, I'm going to Florida State, is a really big deal. Now, I said last segment, I don't want to test this, man, because this would be unprecedented. People who know a lot more about how recruits think and recruiting history for that matter, beyond the surface level stuff that I understand. I know when we've had number one classes. I know when we've had great recruiting years and sustained that success, and when we haven't. I got it. That's about what I know. But I don't go to these camps. I don't follow that for my job. I know Warchant.com does, and a lot of other places do too. And they have their experts that go and watch these kids firsthand. So I do defer. I do. But I do know that when you have elite players and they're committed to a school and they become the reason others want to go to that school because they're that kind of vocal and they recruit. I mean, I do remember LaMarcus Joyner and others getting kids to come to Florida State once they had decided that they were in on what Jimbo Fisher was selling and how quickly things got turned around. And if you want to ask what gets this turned around, the answer is most resoundingly good players. It is the Jimmies and Joes and not the X's and O's. You better be able to provide bigger, stronger, faster, and then worry about all of those other things. Sometimes guys screw that up too. I'd like the opportunity for this staff to screw that up by having better players. Right now, nothing close to it, especially up front. So when Duffy and Hunter and others come out after games that are bitterly disappointing for us as fans, bitterly disappointing for the current players and staff, you can't help but be buoyed. It tells me that those coaches have been brutally honest in assessing what they have to these recruits. Because if you had sold them a bag of goods, if you had told them, hey, you look out there starting in the fall, you wait, we're going to show you what we're all about. You'll see this. A lot of people are predicting us to win. I mean, hell, Vegas has got us going, 5.5 for a team total. We'll show them. You're going to see what we're about. No, they could not have done that. Clearly, they didn't do that. Because those kids by now would be like, what the hell? These guys can't assess nothing. They told us we were going to be good. This team's terrible. They just lost to an FCS school. I don't know. I don't know if I want to play for a guy like that. So clearly, they didn't do that. They had honest dialogue. They basically told them, we need you to get this turned around. Now, listen, we're gonna try to be a better football team, and certainly week to week, we're gonna hopefully show you that we can be that. But they didn't make promises about 8-9 wins. They didn't tell them they were going to put up prolific numbers on offense. They didn't tell them, wait do you see how much better we are on defense. We need you. There's opportunity for you to come in and play. I think that's evident. I think all you got to do is look at our depth chart and you can see. I mean, these kids have eyes. They're not blind. They can read. They can see. They watch the game. They know. So it's important to be candid without besmirching the kids that are here for, trying their best, the kids that have bought in, the kids that are battling. You've got some young talent in this group. It's not good enough right now, nor experienced enough, but you've got to raise the floor, in particular with this offensive line. It's just, it's weird too, because when it rains, it pours, and we know, and when you're down, it seems like everything bad that can happen does happen. And you can't sit around feeling sorry for yourself. And I certainly hope the players and coaches aren't doing that. But like we said before the year, what's the one thing that could happen that would derail any chance of having a reasonably successful season? Well, that would be that'd be offensive line injuries, because you didn't have enough good players as is. You were marginal at best up front. DLT is clearly not right. That's why they had to move him to guard. That's why he's not playing tackle. Then you have injuries at center, and your other tackle goes down, and then you have to kick a kid off the team because he never did buy in, and he's always been a problem. But still, from a talent standpoint, Dante Lucas was a guy that you could at least have fill in at guard, and he was more talented than some of the other kids you have currently on this roster. Now, again, if you're a deleterious influence in the locker room and you don't buy in, I don't care if you can bend and move your feet. You got to go. Nobody has time for that. It's not like you're playing for a national title. You're not even playing for the Atlantic Division. Just you got to move along, and that's great. You remove the poison pill. But he was still going to be a body that they could have used in a pinch that was more athletic than some of the other guys they had. So when you lose that, now you don't even have 5 starting offensive linemen that you feel can compete at an ACC level. And of course, that's the area where they get hit by injury. Of course. Couldn't have been defensive back where you seemingly have 100 kids. I get the joke is that they can't play, but you've got a lot of bodies. You don't on this offensive line. So I think the recruits, the high-profile recruits coming out this week and last after tough losses, unbearable losses for most of us to watch, to hear them scream it from the mountaintops for anybody that's asking online or otherwise, official interviews or otherwise, hey, no, I'm good. I'm still locked in. Still feel good. I'm going. That's a really good sign that the coaches did a good job of being brutally honest with the kids they're recruiting. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
House Bill 167 was filed Wednesday to ban abortion at 6 weeks and put into place a legal mechanism to sue anyone who helps someone end a pregnancy in Florida after 6 weeks. The bill was filed by Florida Representative Webster Barnaby. HB 167 requires physicians to conduct tests for the presence of detectable fetal heartbeat, prohibits physicians from performing or inducing abortion if a fetal heartbeat is detected, or if a physician fails to conduct a test to detect fetal heartbeat, among other stipulations. If the bill passes, it would take effect on July 1st, 2022. Tallahassee Community College is rolling out the Stars and Stripes Lounge, a space for students who served in the military to relax while on campus. TCC has one of the largest veteran student populations, and the lounge will serve as a place of comfort while they transition out of the service. The lounge is part of the Veteran Success Center that helps more than 800 veteran students. The lounge plans to have animal therapy sessions and much more throughout the semester. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Mac & More Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at macandmoresystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunny skies this afternoon with highs around 79. Winds out of the north, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows level off around 57 tonight. Clear skies and quiet. Sunny skies and calm again tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 82. High of 84 Saturday under mainly sunny skies. 87 Sunday. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 75.
Real Talk 93.3 wants you to win $1,000. Why? Because money talks.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Your next chance to win is coming up during the Jeff Cameron Show at 2 p.m. Listen out for the keyword, then click on the Real Talk Money megaphone at realtalk93.com. Money talks. Everything else can take a walk.
Money, I just can't get enough.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Greg Tish.
Friday morning right here on the Greg Tish Show, we will be taking your calls for your score predictions for the Louisville FSU game. We also have John Reed and Terry Madigan coming in, and also our special celebrity guest picker tomorrow.
The Machine.
Bert Kreischer.
Best laugh in the business.
Will be on the show 7:30 to 8. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., the Greg Tish Show right here on Real Talk 93.3.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by
that opportunity. I do this every weekend too, watching college football. And that's a place I'd like to see a game. That looks like a cool place. It's interesting when you venture outside and you go to a school that you're indifferent about. Either you have friends that went there or somebody invites you to experience something. I've had that moment where you go somewhere and you go, oh, this isn't not nearly what I thought it would be. It's not great. But also that, there have been times I've gone to places where I've gone, holy moly, this is so much better than I would have ever guessed. And I was thinking of places that I still would like to find that out for myself. And I always come back to the Pacific Northwest when it comes to that.
We talked about it a little bit on College Sportsbook, and it's not just because I'm a fan of Penn State, but a whiteout seems
cool,
second to none.
Seems cool. I think I would like it a lot. Over 100,000 strong in that situation. That's good. I don't know that. Listen, if you've never been to an LSU game, if you've never been in Baton Rouge at night for one of those experiences, it's incredible. That place it's nuts. And the food is good. I mean, a big part of all of this is just one thing you find out, and Florida State's got to get there, but only time will allow you to get there. Somebody tweeted at me yesterday, I think it was. I don't know if you saw this. Northwestern, of all places, had a donor, and I paraphrase, and I read this in passing. I think somebody who was dying or did die or something left an obscene amount of money to Northwestern, like $400 million, like an obscene amount of money, right? And Florida State's too young. Florida State doesn't have enough graduates that have gone on to build empires that are now passing on and giving back in that way. $100 million. We always talk about, about 5 or 6 of the most wealthy donors that are Florida State alum or Florida State supporters of some kind or whatever it might be. Other schools have hundreds of people, oil barons and things like that. They're like, oh yeah, I'll give $100 million because it's a drop in the bucket to me. But Florida State really needs that. I mean, that's where college football has gone. And it's disappointing in a lot of ways that it's become such a big business, but it just is. I mean, the ship sailed a long time ago. I tell people all the time, you want purity, go watch the Ivy League, but it's not what college football has been in some time. The reality is too, what you get worried about. I mean, you're reading about what the Manning kid, the quarterback. There's talk of him getting around $14 million to go play quarterback at Texas. I mean, that's so. Now, that is a very unique circumstance. It is an outlier, and it's not like the Mannings need money. But, yeah, I mean, those kind of NIL deals now where you're talking about these kind of wealthy alumni who own businesses or own something in which they don't even have to hide it anymore. No, well, I'm going to pay you this much to be a spokesman for my business, and that's perfectly legal. Which, fine, but Florida State isn't able to, there aren't enough of those kinds of guys that are Florida State graduates, Florida State alumni that are willing or even capable of doing that. And it scares the hell out of you because there's a lot that has to happen for Florida State to get back to where we want it to be. A lot to get back. And so financially speaking, it's problematic. Florida State has always been able to overcome a lot of disadvantages because of its relative youth. And when you talk about the history of college football, obviously Florida State isn't in the same ballpark financially with a Notre Dame. Not many people are. Any of the Texas schools, Oklahoma, obviously Alabama. You could even say the University of Florida, certainly. Just look at the IPTAY fund at Clemson. Florida State has not had that kind of infrastructure because of its relative, again, in the big picture, the history of college football, the amount of alumni, et cetera. They has not had that kind of money. Don't even have completely fully endowed scholarships. So that's been a problem. But I think a point of pride that Florida State fans have and Florida State alumni have is that hasn't always mattered. Florida State has found a way to go and not only compete, but be a dominant college football program, which is a point of pride. And I think that when you have those larger conversations about what's it going to take, in the background, people have always wondered, how long are we going to be able to continue to do that? How long are we going to be able to sustain that? If certain changes happen in college football, will Florida State still be able to compete? And the answer has always largely been yes, it has. But every time something new is into the picture, you kind of take a step back. Well, is this the thing? Is this the thing? And it's especially true if it coincides with a downtime in the program. Then you're like, oh, here it is. This was always my fear. Doesn't mean it is. Could be any number of other things. But if you talk to the people, who behind the scenes have a good idea of Florida State's economic situation right now and why they're having to ask the state for money and all of this, then, those people have been warning for some time about if a certain confluence of events occur, this could be problematic for a while. Not that you couldn't overcome it in time, but it could be a huge step back and you wonder for how long that period is. And so, I think about those things when I think about the bigger picture of college football, and I think of the plight that Florida State finds themselves in. But I also think, hey, you know what? Because of where it is regionally and its ability to recruit and its most recent success, obviously, not all that long ago at all. Who knows? It could be a 3-year rebuild as opposed to waiting 20 years like Nebraska is or like Miami has been. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Maximizing your Social Security benefits isn't something they want you to know how to do. Many people are unaware of unused benefits that are owed to them. Hi, this is Craig Collins from Collins Income Tax Solutions. And if you're wondering whether or not your Social Security is going to be there for you, I can help. Contact me today to schedule a free consultation to learn how we can help maximize your Social Security benefits. You can find me online at collinsincometaxsolutionsllc.com. That's collinsincometaxsolutionsllc.com.
This is Patty Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're ready.
He's recording.
Why are you always saying your last name? It's Patty and Scott. Everybody knows
know that.
Patty and Scott.
I don't know. This is Patty Wilson. I am Patty Wilson.
What is the idea behind said promo?
It's for Patty's Playhouse. We're on Patty's Playhouse Saturdays at 11. Tune in. That's stupid. Just tune in. Saturdays at 11. Patty Wilson, Patty's Playhouse. House talk with a happy ending.
Each and every time.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature witch, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
When the forgotten poor are in need of healing, they wait for a ship unlike any other. Mercy Ships, a floating hospital staffed by volunteers, heroes of mercy who donate their time to save lives.
Every human has the right to have a place at the table of the human race.
If you could just see the smiles that you get when lives have been changed, then it would make it all worth it.
To learn more about Heroes of Mercy, go to mercyships.org.
You went online to switch your car insurance to Progressive so you could save money. But then you saw a friend request from an old summer camp buddy. And now here you are, clicking through photos of his kickball team from 2011. Oh, looks like they won the championship that year. Then he moved to Tulsa. Oh, a new tattoo. Yes, they said it was easy to save hundreds on car insurance with Progressive, but they forgot about the rest of the internet. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. National average savings by new customer surveyed who saved in 2019.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network.
New members, first month is free with the purchase of a heart rate monitor. First class is always free, by the way. If you wanted to just go and take it and check it out and see what it's all about and see why it is you'd want to be involved. Also, if you refer to a friend, if you're an active member, you refer a friend or you even upgrade before the end of this month, you'll receive discounted membership prices for the next 3 months. Great value there. Also, if you had, for a variety of reasons, chose to freeze your membership, I should say, and now you're ready to get back after it, feel comfortable enough to do so, you'll receive a discount for the next 3 months as well. So that is good news there as well. Elite members receive $30 off for 3 months. Premier members receive $50 off for 3 months. So if you have questions, just contact the studio, 850-895-9683, OrangeTheoryFitness.com, 2 locations in town. All right. Other side notes that would have raised an eyebrow for you. Probably. You might have, if I had bet this game, you would have said, my man, SMU at TCU over 64. Oh man, yeah. It's over 64 would immediately cause. Well, that's interesting, and we would have seen the guy
over on the SMU game. Huh?
Yeah, we're going over on the SMU game. Yeah. Well, here's the thing about that, and yeah. You do go back and you box score these things. People do ask these questions on the thread, and I don't spend a lot of time on the thread because I realized early on when we made the switch that I was spending too much time answering questions on the thread. I like to try to touch on some stuff from Twitter, touch on some stuff or questions there as well. But also just do whatever it is I'm going to be doing and let the guys, if they want to bicker amongst each other, do that. But when people ask legitimate questions about, well, how then do you keep up with this, and this, or what is it that you're looking, man, you can go back I think you do this anyhow. You would do this at least if you were having to talk about these teams every week, these games every week. You would always go back and box score it. I mean, I can't watch every game, not going to, but I can find totals and I can certainly see trends. I can certainly look at a team who can't stop. Well, I mean, goodness gracious. It doesn't take but 3 or 4 weeks for you to figure out, man, so-and-so doesn't get stops ever. Like they don't ever get stops. It's been a pretty obvious trend lately to note that the over plays a lot on these USC games. Okay. So a lot of it's just box scoring it up and then trying to do a little bit more reading about injury reports and finding certain trends. That's the other big part of it too. These teams, their MOs do change. You feel for teams who early on end up having a lot of injuries, things like that, to critical positions. Hour number 2 forthcoming. We'll recap those Redemption Thursday wagers. Stay with us. 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
And dollars.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
It's time to win some cash. And here's this hour's keyword.
Bills. B-I-L-L-S. Bills.
Click on the Real Talk Money Megaphone at realtalk93.com to enter the keyword for your chance to win $1,000 in this nationwide contest. Money talks. Everything else can take a walk.
Money, money, I just can't get enough.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT. For the Tallahassee.
From townhall.com, I'm John Scott. House Republican leaders say they're formally urging their rank and file to oppose the Senate-passed bipartisan infrastructure bill ahead of a scheduled vote early next week. More from correspondent Bernie Bennett.
While 19 out of 50 GOP senators voted for the roughly $1 trillion bill, far fewer of their House counterparts, who are more aligned with former President Trump, have indicated that they would support it. A notice from House Minority Whip Steve Scalise's office says Republican leaders will urge members to vote against the bipartisan bill because Democrats are linking it with their $3.5 trillion reconciliation package to expand social safety net programs and invest in climate change mitigation efforts. The decision by House GOP leaders to whip against the bipartisan bill puts them at odds with their Senate counterparts and further demonstrates how they are more closely aligned with Mr. Trump. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
Also at townhall.com, with booster doses of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine now authorized in the U.S., government advisors have reconvened to tackle the most contentious question yet. Exactly who should roll up their sleeves right away? Advisors to the CDC are set to vote on that today. In consumer news, Biden administration environmental policies are causing prices to skyrocket. Ken Lorman with details.
President Biden's green energy and climate change policies are now hitting Americans in the wallet. His push for lower carbon emissions are already being felt at the gas pump and on grocery store shelves. Plus, natural gas just hit 7.5-year highs. Meantime, some analysts believe his wind power push is still unlikely to offer much relief for years. Ken Lorman reporting.
It's day 5 of the search for the 23-year-old boyfriend of Gabby Petito, Brian Laundrie. That search has been ramped up since the death of Petito was classified as a homicide. Stock sharply higher, the Dow up 614 points, the NASDAQ 187 points higher. More at townhall.com.
Right now, people are home with their pets more often, and I think especially with the shedding, they're more cognizant of what's going on and that it's an actual issue.
Olive's got some skin issues. He gets really going and scratching.
Excessive shedding, a lot of just scratching and itching.
Digging, scratching, and itching and biting. On top of that, he was starting to get black buildup in his ears.
DINOVITE.com.
I just heard the Dinovite commercial so many times that I said, you know what, I'll give it a shot. And I ordered it and tried it, and it worked.
We started Dinovite, and in our first stock, we noticed a difference, especially with the shedding.
Within 3 weeks, he's not scratching and itching, and he's an all-around happier dog.
We've got 4 dogs, all different ages, all different sizes, and they've all just responded really well to the Dinovite, and they all love it.
We will be using Dinovite for life.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
We order our Dinovite from Dinovite.com. DINOVITE.com.
Did you know metal roofs' survivability far exceeds that of traditional shingle roofs? It's time to consider a metal roof from Metal Roofing Sales of Tallahassee. We provide the best quality, least expensive material and accessories in the area, as well as material pickup and delivery. Our painted panels qualify for the City of Tallahassee's low-interest Energy Star loan program also. And don't forget about our veteran law enforcement discount. Give Metal Roofing Sales a call today at 536-9123, 536-9123.
Warchant.com is the ultimate inside source for FSU football and recruiting. Get in on the action for free for an entire month. Warchant.com is offering a risk-free 30-day trial subscription just by entering the promo code WARCHANT30. That's WARCHANT30. Get in on the world's most active FSU message boards. Receive breaking news, stories from our award-winning staff, plus get exclusive interviews and videos. Just enter the promo code WARCHANT30. WARCHANT.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show.
45,000. Over under 45,000 over at Doak Campbell Stadium for Saturday's game. Don't forget, by the way, speaking of Saturday's game, Tallahassee Game Day with yours truly will be on the air 9 a.m. on Saturday for you. I'm also going to be doing the post-game, filling in for T. Lizzie for the post-game call-in show on Warchant TV. So we'd invite you to do that as well. So I've got pregame and post-game duties for Saturday's game. That would be a good time for Florida State to win said game, is when I have to take over doing both solo. Oh, I guess I'm not solo. I'm going to be with Gene for that second game, for that second duty that I described. But it'd be nice to take some calls that have something to say about a victory. Hey, how about that? Look at this, guys. Ding, 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 ding. Perhaps it's this weekend. Again, that number really low. You're staring at it in disbelief. You keep saying, what are we doing? Somebody noted that I stayed away from it this week. You know what? That was a simple oversight. I forgot to include our game. That should be the 10th game. It's weird. Last week I took Florida State to beat Wake Forest, and they get beat like a drum. I do think there are two critical moments in that game that don't go Florida State's way. Now, they didn't do anything to help themselves. And when you go back and watch that game, you see enough to understand why it got out of hand and why Florida State likely wouldn't have won the game, even if the two really bad breaks hadn't gone against them. They likely would not have won the game. But I knew on that Monday that what I couldn't do after 6 turnovers and looking ill-prepared and kind of having a willy-nilly game plan, well, I knew I couldn't come in and solely focus on those 2 horrific calls. But when you're a bad team, and it's true, and also Florida State does not get the benefit of the doubt because they have played undisciplined. They have been a penalty-ridden team. Now, a couple of things. I've said this before. There's ample evidence to this too. You can just look this up. This is not an opinion. This is a factual statement. Penalties do not directly correlate with winning and losing. There are teams who have, Wake had way more penalties, or not way more, but more penalties than Florida State had in this game, and they won comfortably. So I do think that you can, and by the way, really elite teams with incredible athleticism oftentimes get called for more penalties than their opponents. It's seemingly a little bit of human nature that is involved with officials, where they almost feel like they have to call the team that is athletically superior closely, a little bit more closely than they do the one that is hanging on for dear life. For years, we would see this with Florida State, with Miami, and other schools that had a distinct advantage. That said, when your margin for error is so small in your Florida State, you don't want to add to the reasons why you're behind the chains, because there are going to be physical reasons for that, play in and play out, series in and series out. You don't have to add to it by doing dumb things. And I think also the types of penalties you commit goes a long way with having that sear into the memory and minds of Florida State fans or fan bases in general. If you have a lot of misalignment penalties, guys can't get lined up right, that immediately leads to, and understandably so, questions of coaching. What are you doing at practice? If you have a lot of those, you're going to get that. If you have aggression penalties where it's a borderline call, it's a bang-bang play, and the ref decides that the hit was illegal or unnecessary, I think people can live with that. I think people can live with those kinds of penalties of aggression. They get really miffed and really bothered when it's the very basic stuff. It's a whole lot of too many men on the line of scrimmage, man downfield on a pass play, can't get lined up right, delay of games, things like that. That bothers people. So moving forward for Florida State, yes, you want to, obviously it's better to not commit as many penalties you want to commit less than your opponent. That'd be great. Not always the most important thing to winning and losing, but this is not a team that has an awful lot in the way of margin for error. what you want to now start to see. You and I were talking about this during the break, because this week has been a theme for me about, okay, listen, we've accepted where we're at. This is not good. Nobody wants to be here. This sucks. Residing here without a question is very, very difficult, almost untenable. But that's the reality. So you just accept that and you move forward. And what do you have to see? Well, cogent game planning, obviously built around what few difference makers you have, consistency, and then from there, better performances. They may not always lead to a win, because in some cases you're just straight up outgunned. I mean, you're outgunned against Florida. You're outgunned against Clemson. You're not going to win those games, even if you're incredibly efficient and you don't commit any penalties. You're still not winning those games. But it'd be nice to see it. It's still evidence of growth. It's still signs that you're getting better. It's still something to latch onto to say, see, now here's growth. This is working. This is connecting. They're improving. That's what you're looking for week to week. And I hate that that's a low-ass bar. Low-ass bar to a city. Like, just show me evidence, signs that you can be fundamentally sound. Yeah. I do think that obviously this is a winnable game. That number, and this is what started this diatribe for me. What does that number tell you? What is Vegas saying to you? I mean, Vegas is telling you that they don't trust Louisville either, that they haven't shown any form of consistency either. What we see is the latest evidence, and it concerns us because we looked awful against Wake, and we saw Louisville beat UCF. And there's this thought that UCF is good. I don't think they are. There's this thought that, because again, I'm not a Gus Malzahn guy, and I think he's going to take that program down, not up. But when you saw that, you went, oh, well, great. We're not better than UCF, which is true. And they beat UCF, and so we do that thing, right? Oh, well, there you go. They beat them, so they'll beat us. Well, we'll see. Louisville's not real good at tackling. Numbers bear that out. They don't tackle very well. Miami's worse currently if you look at those statistics, the advanced metrics. But Louisville's not good. They miss a lot of tackles. And they have a wildly inconsistent quarterback, kind of a boomer bust kind of guy. So they're taking that show on the road against a desperate team. Is this what Vegas looking at? I don't know. I'm trying to make the story. Tell me the story of that line being 2, 1.5, 2.5. It's kind of fluctuated between those numbers. That's amazing to me. I'm having a hard time figuring that out, to be honest with you. Most people would tell you, and I know last week when we found out that, actually, Gregory, we disagree. I don't think UCF wouldn't put 50 on FSU. I don't think that's true. I don't think UCF's offensive line would dominate Florida State's defensive line, so therefore they'd struggle to get to 50. Also, Gus sucks. Now, back to this. Because Louisville's defense is terrible too, by the way, and they put 35 on Louisville's defense. Not 50, 35. Going back to my point here, that's the only thing I can see that they're looking at for this game. Now, Florida State's not a good team, without question. And I feel uncomfortable. But a lot of people saw the number last week against Wake and said, let's find out if Maurice Smith is playing. If he's not playing, take Wake all day long. And then, so it's almost like a game time thing. You're just sitting there like, do they got their linemen back? Do they have their linemen back? Because they're not really competitive if they don't. It makes a world of difference. All right, here we go. Redemption Thursday wagers. Flash them up for everybody who didn't get to hear them in the first hour. Here comes Virginia. Give me the Hoos -4 against Wake. Give me Missouri -1.5 against Boston College. UCLA -5 against Stanford. Michigan State -5 against Nebraska. Kentucky -4.5 against South Carolina. Kansas State +5.5 against Oklahoma State. Gonna do a little money line action on that K-State game. Just side note there. Utah State +9.5 against Boise State. And in the NFL went 2 over-unders here. Washington and Buffalo under 46. And Bucks Rams over 55. There is our look. I'm going to let that simmer. I feel good about those games. It's weird. This is a week that if you go across the country and the people that talk about wagering, which was what we do on Redemption Thursdays, they tell you this is a week to run. This is a week to stay away. That there are so many games that just you can't get a feel for. But I will also tell you this. if by chance you end up having a good week on the weeks where people are telling you to run and the house money continues to roll, you can get crazy next week. You can get crazy next week. I spoke of this last hour, going to read a different quote because it is that kind of uplifting. When talking about A.J. Duffy and other recruits commenting that how they're going to stick to being 2022, class of 2022, doesn't matter the record. They want to be part of the change, those kinds of things. That's fun for us to read. That's stuff that's fun for us to embrace. It's all the kind of stuff that Florida State fans want to hear. Now, I know we do so cautiously optimistic because with each passing performance and loss, perhaps those kids, no matter how firm their commitment seems to be, begin to waver. Admittedly, you could understand how it could happen. Let's hope that it doesn't. Let's hope that certainly that staff has done a good job. I was asked this question: how many wins do you think this coaching staff suggested to the players they would be able to see? Because without them, involved in a mass exodus, they had to have been honest with them. Well, let me say that. I think that they probably didn't give a win total. I think they likely didn't give a win total. I think they probably said, look, obviously you can, playing time can be, that's a motivator. These kids, that's a motivator. But in addition to that, I think you stay away from broad proclamations about wins. I just think you avoid the conversation because I don't think it comes up. Recruits aren't asking coaches, how many games do you think you're going to win? That's not a question a recruit is asking. They'll watch the games with their own eyes. They're going to decipher whether or not they think this is a coaching staff that is giving kids an opportunity to succeed. They're going to figure out whether or not it's a place they can go and play and further their career. Does it give them a chance? Yeah, they want to win games. They'd love an opportunity to win a national championship. Who doesn't? But guys go all over the country, and certainly most teams don't have a chance to win the national championship. So there have to be many other factors why you say yes to a school beyond, hey, I think they're going to win 12 games. At Alabama, you might be able to promise that you're going to get your evidence suggests that you'll have a real good chance to play for and win a national championship if you go to Alabama. The finite few that even get recruited by Alabama already know that. Even in that conversation, it doesn't come up because they know that. It's Alabama. It's Ohio State. It's Clemson. It's whatever. When you're the top dog, you don't have to sell wins. The evidence is overwhelming. But I also think when you're trying to build back up, the evidence of playing time being available, if you're a top-level player and you're looking at a roster, that too is self-evident. So it's just never going to come up how many wins. It will matter that you not look ill-prepared. That will matter, that you not look ill-prepared, because I think that would be a deterrent. I think that if you continue to see, or if what you thought you saw were ill-prepared teams, insufficiently coached. Again, you can lose games. There are lots of ways to lose games, and those losses elicit emotion and response. But if a team plays hard and never quits, although that is the minimum effort, we've seen plenty of teams quit. If a team plays hard and looks prepared, but just isn't good enough, maybe recruits don't waver. Maybe a lot of these kids are locked in. If you look ill-prepared and it looks haphazard and scattershot, you're in trouble. I think more than anything else, more than the results of the games.
Because that's one thing you can guarantee didn't come up. These coaches aren't going in there saying, I can't coach these kids up. I can't get a team prepared. Right? Yeah. So if you put that out on the field, it doesn't matter how many games you win.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know. I'm with you. I'm with you. I will. I'm going to put I will, and maybe we'll do this for the pregame show on Saturday. It's probably a better forum for it. I'm going to start putting markers in place for things that we need to see moving forward. Things that recruits will be looking at, but also most importantly, things that the fan base and those that support Florida State athletics need to see to maybe regain, I guess, looking at it from the coach's standpoint, from the coaching staff standpoint, maybe beginning just ever so slightly to regain some trust that has been lost up to this point. Because there's no doubt, big picture, fans will believe it when they see it. They already have ample evidence that things aren't going well. the assumption is, these guys aren't going to be able to get it done. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know. Certainly there's cause for concern. Not saying there isn't. But you can't just, there are 9 games left. Those 9 games have to be filled with moments. And they can't all be negative. They have to be filled with moments where people go, okay, all right, lost by 14 today. That sucks. Getting tired of losing. But this, and this happened. And that's evidence that they're getting better as the weeks go on. There have been plenty of bad teams that towards the end of a season, you saw evidence. I was thinking about that Dolphins team a couple years ago. We were talking about Flores, right? We were like, that's a good coach. That team's still fighting. Look at them. Remember that? The Dolphins would lose most every week, and you'd be like, those sons of bitches are fighting. That was the year that they were allegedly tanking and they were fighting. The franchise had handcuffed them from being able to win games, and those guys fought like hell. That's not only something you hope to see and want to see, that's something that's inspiring. That when you recognize it, when you see it in a team where they are completely outmanned, they're not good enough to do this, and this, but man, they don't care. And they play with each other and for each other, and they fight. That's the stuff that is uplifting. That's all you have when you're not good. It's Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Hey guys, it's Greg Tish. It's summertime, it's grilling time. But with a grill that just won't light, you're just going to end up with the summertime blues. Yeah, blues and barbecue go hand in hand, but if you get a custom outdoor kitchen built from Hearth and Patio, you'll feel like a rock star every time those flames kick on. They also sell a full line of incredible high-end grills like Fire Magic, Blaze, and Broil Master, all designed to deliver the ultimate in beauty, performance, and durability. Everything you need to elevate your grilling experience can be found at Hearth and Patio. In fact, anything related to fire can be found at Hearth and Patio. Fire pits, gas lighting, indoor and outdoor fireplaces, wood stoves, and even custom-built pizza ovens. Go see for yourself. Check out their services and products online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. That's hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Or give them a call, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282. At Hearth and Patio, they keep the home fires burning.
Have you ever finished a painting project at your home or business and thought to yourself, wow, that was fun. I really like how sore my arms and hands are. And those sloppy edges and corners, I'll get used to it. Not a chance. So before you get all your brushes and rollers and buckets and blankets, contact B&B Painting of Tallahassee. Interior painting, exterior, commercial, whatever you need painted, B&B Painting of Tallahassee is your first choice. Get a fast, friendly, and free quote today with a quick visit to bnbpaintingtallahassee.com. That's B&B Painting Tallahassee.com.
This is an insurance market alert from Barbara at Faircloth Insurance in Tallahassee. A few months ago, I asked you to contact your legislators to help stop the skyrocketing property insurance rates in Florida. Other states average 2 lawsuits per day on property insurance claims. Florida has 384 per day. The property owners of Florida are being taken advantage of, but it is not by the insurance companies. The companies are paying out 10 times the cost of a claim or more that would have been paid anyway. People are canvassing neighborhoods, knocking on doors, suggesting that the property owner may have some damage. The property owner innocently signs something that turns all control of any claim settlement to an attorney that becomes the person designated to get the claim check and who controls the disbursement of the claim payment. If we want these rates to go down, we must reach out to our legislators and let them know how unaffordable home insurance has become and that we want them to support reform that will fix the issues. This has been an insurance market alert from Barbara at Faircloth Insurance in Tallahassee.
For about 50 years, Paul's Termite and Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses for thousands of people right here in the Big Bend, and we're quite proud of that. Fact is, all of us here at Paul's have families, and nothing is more important to us than their protection. By providing effective termite and pest treatments, we know we're aiding many right here in our community.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control performs many services designed for the protection of your family and your home. Programs like Pro Shield Complete, which encompasses termite and general pest control in one low-cost quarterly treatment plan. This program is environmentally friendly and is almost exclusively limited to exterior treatments, meaning pests and termites never enter your home. Termite programs like Centricon, a service which requires no invasive drilling or liquid applications. Plus, our lawn care team keeps lawns and ornamentals green and healthy.
Protection of your family, your home, and our environment all are very important to each of us at Paul's. To learn more about our many programs, please visit us at callpauls.com.
For the elimination of termites or any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the
the people who started said companies, the men and women who began these initial projects and then saw them build into the biggest, most successful, Bezos with Amazon, whatever you want to look at, right? You can look at Microsoft, whatever. And every time I read those stories about the people who opted out before they made it big, before they became publicly traded, before they became what we all know them to be, just sort of omnipresent aspects of our life, things that everybody uses around the world. And I always wonder that those people afterwards, when they go on with their lives, like how often do they think about it? How often does it, Pete Best, the drummer for the Beatles, that wasn't. I mean, that's a toughie. That's a toughie. I'm sure he's happy for Ringo. But that had to have been like, really? Okay.
Well, you know the story about the Apple guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like $1,500 for 10%?
Yeah. Selling off shares for you.
Mm.
I'm opting out, guys. Oh, well, there are countless stories like that. Usually, a lot of the fun ones are with bands. A lot of the original drummer, the original guitarist, the original, whomever it might be. It's just like, because you tour tirelessly, it's a tough life if you're not known. I mean, you're lugging your own equipment. You're driving in a stinky, sorry van with a bunch of other dudes across the country, and you're trying to get your music out there. You get stiffed by promoters and bar owners, and, thing breaks down on the side of the road, and you're stuck in middle of nowhere for a week so you can scrape up enough money to get a new tire or something ridiculous. You hear these stories, and oftentimes, and especially if guys are like at a point in their life where they're maybe late 20s and they've been doing this for 10 years since they were 18, and they meet a girl and they're thinking about a life that has a little more security. It gives them an opportunity to maybe settle down and have a home, maybe even be a father or a mother or whatever it might be, right? So those stories I'm fascinated by, and we all kind of Google at, ogle at the amount of money that's left behind. This is what they would have been worth had they stuck it out as a founder of such and such. So I read this story today, and this is not that. But it is still a number. It is still a sizable number, and one might think a bit of a mistake. Now, he ain't hurting for money and has had an incredible career and will never look back with large amounts of regret, I don't suppose. But John Elway, obviously, most famously, Denver Broncos Super Bowl winning quarterback, he is apparently interested in becoming a part of an ownership group looking to purchase the team, the Broncos, that is, when they hit the market. He wants to be part of that group, along with Peyton Manning. They're two football names that are currently linked to the sale of the team. They are linked with other super rich, high-profile people like Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, also Steve Ballmer, owner of the Los Angeles Clippers. interested in perhaps broadening the portfolio, owning the Denver Broncos. But here you go. When Elway retired in 1998 following a Super Bowl victory, the Broncos were desperate to keep him as part of the fabric of the organization. He was saying goodbye, I'm out of here, all that good stuff. What they did was they made him an offer. $36 million in exchange for 20% of the team. Had he taken that offer, his stake in the team now would be worth, you got to guess? He said no.
20%, $300 million.
Oh, buddy. A bit more than that. $750 million had he said yes. They wanted him to stay around, be part of the organization, stick about. That is a $750 million of a stake. You'd more than have the money to take over, even hostilely, the rest of it if you wanted to become the sole owner. He's now trying to buy in at a more inflated price. That is, so if you look back at $36 million at that time, during his career, for example, Elway only made $45 million. So now we hear that amount and we think, well, that's no money. But if he had taken $36 million plus that percentage of the ownership, I mean, he would have made in one moment nearly as much as he had made for the entirety of his career. And then obviously what that would have become. $750 million is what that would have become. But this is not like those other guys. Just a side note. He's doing okay. He's not hurting. He's doing all right.
The way this segment started, I thought you were about to tell me that John Elway was asked to be like a drummer for Pearl Jam or something. I was waiting to see what band you were about to say.
What weird thing? Yeah, no. I'm just talking about guys. It blows me away. These stories are great. You can fall down this rabbit hole. You can do this. There are too many to name where so-and-so was once a part of an investment team that did this and this, which became ... and you wait for it. Oh, the big reveal. Oh, he would have been worth $6.7 billion. He died penniless at the age of 37 in an apartment. That was a tough decision. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
The Leon County Supervisors of Elections is warning residents that they are not the ones sending out pre-filled voter registration cards that are appearing in mailboxes across town. These are unofficial documents being sent by a private group. Some are addressed to people who are already registered, some to people who have died, and even some addressed to pets. 15,000 people in Leon County are expected to receive letters like this, but they are not official and do not have any impact on your registration status. Florida A&M University says they are now offering third doses of the COVID-19 vaccination for immunocompromised people. A third dose of both the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are available. Individuals with compromised immune systems are not required to show proof or a doctor's note. They just need to fill out a form. About 70 people per day have been visiting the site to get vaccinated. Since the site first opened in February, staff has administered more than 17,000 doses of vaccine. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Mac & More Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at macandmoresystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunny skies this afternoon with highs around 79. Winds out of the north, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows level off around 57 tonight. Clear skies and quiet. Sunny skies and calm again tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 82. High of 84 Saturday under mainly sunny skies. 87 Sunday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 77.
Is your business interested in exploring safe, secure, remote access capabilities for your employees? Not sure whether to go with a Mac or with a Windows system? Call the folks at Mac & More Systems, and they can give you the guidance to make the best decision for your needs. Visit macandmoresystems.com today.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Greg Tish.
Friday morning right here on the Greg Tish Show, we will be taking your calls for your score predictions for the Louisville FSU game. We also have John Reed and Terry Madigan coming in, and also our special celebrity guest picker tomorrow.
The Machine.
Bert Kreischer.
Best laugh in the business.
Will be on the show 7:30 to 8. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., the Greg Tish Show right here on Real Talk 93.3.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness.
I do like a couple of totals this week. I'll probably sprinkle those in before the end of the show. I think I picked everything else that's actually on the card. Also could see Iowa State UNLV under 58.5. If that number is still there, I'll have to double check that as well. UNLV can't score and they'll get blown out, but it's not like Iowa State is an offensive juggernaut. So it's just another one to kind of take a gander at. Just take a little gander at. I love my friends at ISF. I love them partly because they do good work for people, and I've learned of this company as they've as we've formed a partnership. And obviously, I always tell you guys, as I do with all of our sponsors, support the people that help support us. I like to do business with people who do business with us, and so that's just stands to reason, right? And so they're in business with us and we're in business with them, and we want to make this a symbiotic thing that works. But I also have to give my friends at ISF credit, and coming on board before this season and then seeing this 0-3 start, there they are, rock solid, still here, baby. They're not wavering. Your vision, their expertise, solving for the future, it's all right now. It's happening, and we need it. And so if you don't know, ISF is an IT and strategy firm. For 40 years. They have served state government and business clients across the nation. So they're a national company located right here in Tallahassee, and they are experts in government processes. They've worked with government agencies across the country. I know you guys want to do amazing things, hard workers in state government. You have big visions and goals for the future, and you want to move your agency forward. And you have unique challenges that you have to deal with. It's inherent to government operations. So they got that. And I think you ought to reach out. They've worked in 18 states for state and local agencies, serving millions of citizens, 40 years in the business. So find out more about ISF. You can check them out online. You can certainly also give them a call. You'll see some of the ISF stuff we have there also visually on the Warchant TV feed. So they rely, their clients do, on ISF to advise and protect and advance their business and technology objectives. So if that's something that you've been thinking about, something that your office needs help with, ISF is where I would tell you to go. Now, the hard part of this, because this is solving the future. When we talk about solving the future, and much of today's show has actually been about that, about talking about how do you solve for the future. And the number one, I think, hurdle while you're going through an ugly transformation is patience doesn't exist. It especially doesn't exist if you don't give signals, signs, tangible evidence that you're doing something to expedite the turnaround. You know, if after the Notre Dame game you polled the fan base, really, many of the people who follow and cover college football, the overriding sentiment would have been there have been significant improvements made at Florida State already by Mike Norvell and his staff. Now think about that's 2 games ago. And in a what feels like record short period of time, that goodwill and belief was shattered. It all happened on a fateful Saturday night against Jacksonville State, where all of it became unraveled and an afterthought. But it was only a couple of games ago. How quickly perceptions change and optimism diminishes if you do not continue to push forward and solve for the future. If you don't continue to show signs of growth, if you don't give people evidence, proof of concept, if you will, that this team, this program is going to be better by season's end than it currently is. You can't just fall back on that one game thing. You have to show moving forward unequivocally that things have improved and that this is a program that is worth your investment, worth your time, and worth emotionally investing in as well as financially. And that's really perhaps the most damning thing that has happened these last couple of games is that you have a game that was treated like a glorified scrimmage and it came back to bite you in the ass because of one terrible moment. And then you have a game against Wake Forest, yes, in which you suffered injuries, but the game plan seemed, as I've described, scattershot. And you seem panicked and at times ill-prepared. 6 turnovers is never a good look. So I need to see this week that evidence of improvement, that investment, that solving for the future is, again, it's not happening and it never does when you're desperate to succeed and you're not succeeding. You know, it's like losing weight. If you're 100 pounds overweight, there's a long way to go. But you got to start with losing 5 pounds, 10 pounds, some realistic goal. I don't care if it's walking to the end of the driveway and back 15 times every morning that gets you to that goal. You've got to see something, right? Some sort of product. And when you look in the mirror, if you're 100 pounds overweight and you lose 5, you're really not going to see any difference. You're still a raging fat ass at that point. But 5 becomes 10, 10 becomes 15, 15 becomes 30, and all of a sudden we begin to see these improvements. And much like that morbidly obese person that I'm using for this example, Florida State finds itself looking in the mirror, and it's not a pretty sight. Not a pretty sight, Matthew. Maybe after the Louisville game, that's our 5 pounds. Can I get a little, hey, I don't know, maybe a little around the cheeks? I'm starting to see a little something around the cheeks. Maybe. I hope that's what this game ends up representing. Well, I hope obviously for a win, but I would like to see something, again, traction. That's the word of the week. Give me something that shows me a path forward, some damn traction. And a little something around the cheeks. Maybe the following week, it's like, hey, not only do I got a little something around the cheeks, check out the bottoms of the arms. Check out the bottoms of the arms. We're doing all right. Soon we'll be looking at belt line. We'll be feeling good. What could that something be, right? What might it be? Well, Maverick helmets. Stick with the power run game. Throw off of that. Let 0 and 8 carry it 25 times a piece. Ride or die with it. Kind of what I said at the beginning of the week. I need to see, listen, you don't have many playmakers on the team, period. You're talking about what could that be? What does it look like? How does it work? Well, may not work, may not be something that succeeds to the level we want it to, which would involve a lot of points in winning a football game, but it'd be an identity that you're playing towards, and you'd be playing towards your best players on that side of the ball. And he's right. Ja'Shawn Corbin, Trayshawn Ward, those guys are guys that we know can make plays. Now, are they game-changing running backs? Are they elite in the way that Dalvin Cook was, for example? No, not many people are. But are they assets? Are they players that are plus players on that side of the? I think the answer is a resounding yes. I think they're good football players. It helps to have an offensive line, especially if you're a running back. But you can't rely on these receivers. We know that. The tight end room is virtually non-existent. Your offensive line in quarterback play is not good. So, again, I get it. Play off those guys, build something around those guys, throw in a few wrinkles from there, try to establish some form of identity. And because I also think that ultimately, and this is very frustrating, and it's got to be really, really frustrating for Mike and for Kenny, but here's the deal. Can you be, if you want it to be, can you be a passing team with an offensive line that looks like this? I don't think so. I don't think you can be. So I don't think you have a choice. Now, defensively, look, they've been by and large in positions. I mean, our offense gave up the ball 6 times last week. No defense is going to hold people down if you give them that many extra opportunities and they run that many more plays than your team. So I don't begrudge them last week. This week has to be about that traction. It has to be, okay, we found something that we're going to play off of. We'll introduce some wrinkles here and there. It's the bottom line is when you're not the better team, you want to shorten the game. Used to drive me nuts. Now, listen, Jimbo's won a ton of games. But remember, we used to get mad. We'd lament, why do we run at the slowest pace possible when we have better players? More plays, not less plays when you have better players. That widens the gap. With the more plays that you run, you give these athletes a chance to run, to do what they do. I've got more of them than you do. I'm going to give them more opportunities. But Jimbo would play at literally the slowest pace in the country. That's why it was all the more amazing that Winston's team broke all those offensive records because they didn't play at pace. Well, fast forward to where we are now, and it's many moons later. No, let's shorten the games. Let's do that. Less plays, not more plays. And maybe in the fourth quarter, you're in a game with an opportunity to win because you shrunk the game. You gave them an opportunity, obviously, at this point to be in it because the sheer number of opportunities the opposing team have been greatly diminished by ball. It's easier said than done. Ball possession is not sustainable if you're incessantly behind the chains and you're 3 and out. I mean, you got to convert some first downs. You got to possess the football. You got to flip field position and give yourself a fighting chance to do some of these things. But I think it's your best hope at this point. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Hi, Chris Kraft for the Kraft Brothers dealerships. At Kraft Nissan, we've been amazed at the number of Toyota and Honda people trading up to Nissan's new family of SUVs. The changes are stunning. And don't just take my word for it. Motor Trend tagged Rogue as the 2021 SUV of the Year finalist, adding that Rogue can go toe-to-toe with Honda and Toyota. Well, guess what, Tallahassee? We can't keep the new Rogues on the showroom floor. Seriously, you haven't seen one for yourself? Come take a test drive, and you'll see the new Rogue sells itself. In the 2022 Nissan Pathfinder, it's roomier, quicker, and better equipped. Plus, the second row seats easily slide and flip forward to allow access to the third row, even with a child seat installed. And finally, Car and Driver says savvy shoppers will be surprised by the new Armada's luxuriousness. So I encourage SUV lovers to come see the new Nissan family of SUVs. And everyone knows that Nissan SUVs have more standard equipment than the competition. The award-winning Rogue, Pathfinder, and Armada, only at Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive, Tallahassee.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those darn leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
Hey, Nole fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state government, including public health and emergency response agencies, our friends at ISF recognize September as National Preparedness Month and want to help you be safe this hurricane season. Visit ISF.com to learn more and download your emergency preparedness plan today. ISF, solving the future.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. This summer, you can save money and stay comfortable. Ask about our annual service agreement with no overtime charges ever. At Barano Heating and Air, we're always there for you.
Online at baranoac.com.
Keeping you comfortable is what Barry does best.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
The board here. You're right, Sam. This is interesting. He writes, without perimeter threats, teams just load up the box, have to have a dude who can run like a running back or pass adequately. Dilemma of almost every team is true. I do think in college football, you need a mobile quarterback unless you really have a guy that can throw it. I mean, Jameis was a special quarterback. He was a pure passer, a drop back passer. He could thread the needle. He had a great mind. Pre-snap reads, checking the right protections, and putting it on guys where they could make plays. Most teams do not have that. And when you don't, you need a guy that can move. The problem Florida State has, it's one of many problems Florida State has, they don't have either. Because everybody tells me, well, you got to run Jordan Travis. You've got to let Jordan Travis thread of the legs, give you the extra man, and you can run the ball. Well, he can't stay healthy. If he runs and gets hit, he gets hurt, period. There's overwhelming evidence to that end. He's not an elite thrower. And then it does seem to me, and maybe he'll get better the more games he plays. I hope. But if you're just looking at this receiving core and you look at this offensive line and their inability to block it up in pass pro, plus McKenzie Milton doesn't have a good arm. You look at the yards per pass attempt, it's dreadful. I mean, I think he's kind of damaged goods at this point. I hate it for him. I hope that he continues to build and get stronger. Maybe I'll be wrong on that, and that'd be great. I'm rooting for him, but you don't have either of what you need. It's brutal. It's just brutal. So that is the conundrum they find themselves in as they game plan every week is, how do we do this? And invariably it comes back to, again, the offensive line not being any good. So if we would cue it up and we'll get to.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Probables brought to you by North Florida Payroll Services. Thank you, North Florida Payroll Services, locally owned for nearly 15 years, offering payroll and HR services, including full online applicant onboarding and integration into payroll. Save your company money and headaches today. Head to northfloridapayroll.com. A couple games already started. White Sox, Indians, Reynaldo Lopez, Aaron Savale. That game is 7-2 White Sox. Cardinals, Brewers. That game's underway. Adam Wainwright, Adrian Hauser. 4-0 Milwaukee. Shocking to see Adam Wainwright's 16-7 with a 3.05 ERA season.
I need to tell you how much I hate the Cardinals.
Mm.
The Phillies are 4.5 back in the wild card because the Cardinals have won 11 straight.
Oh, yeah.
Because of course they have.
Of course, that's what they do. It's absurd. Dodgers, Rockies, Max Scherzer, Kyle Freeland. We've got the Mariners and the A's. That game is going on currently, and it is... No, it's not going on. It's about to start. About to start, Jeff. You sick Gucci. Chris Bassett goes for the A's. Braves, D-backs, Charlie Morton and Madison Bumgarner. Giants, Padres, Logan Webb, Yu Darvish. White Sox, Indians, Game 2, TBD and Zach Plesac. Nats, Reds, Patrick Corbin, Luis Castillo. Rangers, Orioles, Glenn Otto. Hey, everybody, welcome into Glenn Otto. I'm Glenn Otto. Orioles will throw Zach Lowther. Pirates, Phillies, Connor Overton and Aaron Nola. Hey, get you some Connor Overton.
I hope he enjoys his shutout. Seven inning shutout tonight.
Well, it'd be his first career win, I think, so that'd be something.
Congratulations to him.
Congratulations, Overton family, says Director Matthew. Blue Jays, Twins, that's Steven Matz and Michael Pineda. Astros, Angels, Lance McCullers Jr., Alex Cobb, and that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. Jeff, I'll give you the Washington football team with the points if you want to add some more groceries to those in need and move on from Milton. So I can do that? I don't know. I don't like, that's why I went over under. That's why I didn't. No, man. The NFL slate this week, as far as the actual spreads, no. I'm running for the hills.
Whole lot of 8s and 7.5s, 10.5s. Bad numbers.
Yeah, it's a. I mean, I got to do redemption Thursday. I mean, I got to do wagers with my mother tomorrow. These lines are really quick, just rapid fire. Tonight's game is 8, like you said. The Texans are getting 8 from Carolina. Don't want to touch it. Washington's getting 8 against. I'll tell you what, Tom, just for you, I'll do it. Go ahead. Now, you know I did this because it's charitable. Give me the Washington football team plus 8. I'll do that. And maybe you'll be the one. You'll be the guy buying the groceries, pal. Oh. Yeah, a lot of weird numbers. I love grocery shopping. Love it. It's one of the few, it's the simple things in life as you get older. Very simple. It's morning coffee in silence. Very special moment. One of the most throughout the day. And then it's weird things like, perusing the aisles at a Publix. I think that makes me officially old. Probably. I don't even have to buy anything. There have been days I go in there for something and I'm like, okay, well, I need to get this. It's something like, hey, the wife will say, hey, go grab some bread. Oh, cool. I got it. I'll go. Because I'm going to go and listen to my pod. I'm going to do something, whatever I'm listening to at the time, maybe a new album or something. I'll put the earbuds in. I'm like, oh, I'm good to go. Go in here, go over to the bread. And then I could just walk right out. Oh, but nay. Let's go look at the milk.
I did that too.
I don't know why.
I mean, there's aisles that I don't even need anything down.
No.
Like, oh, we'll just go down there.
I go down every aisle every time I go.
Yeah.
You just never know. What if something special is on sale?
I don't need any medicine, but I'm gonna go past the pharmacy.
What if there are new medicines that I've not heard about? I do that. I will go. Oh, and don't get me started. If you go to produce and I'm there for days. Oh, I like the way they've misted the spinach today. Look at that. Look at those spinach leaves right there. That's well done. I'd like to commend everybody on the setup here. You did good work. It makes me even want to buy that. I don't need it, but look at it. It's glistening. I do that. I do the same with, I don't, I'm a really big fan of cheese. So cheese isn't great for you. You shouldn't have it all the time, but it is damn delicious. And so then you go and you look at the cheese. You look at all those cheeses. I could get them all if I wanted. Not going to, but look at him.
Shredded, blocked.
Oh.
Who cares?
Yeah, get a mix. Good work out of you. Thanks to everybody who listened. Appreciate you. We'll get together tomorrow. Have a good time on a Libations Friday. Don't forget, Greg Tish in the morning. Bert Kreischer's on to make picks. So be listening.